Hello students, let us start with part 8 of control and coordination chapter, and today we will discuss about ventricles of brain and prosencephalon. Ventricles of brain. So brain, it is a hollow organ, it is not solid, and the cavities that are present in the brain, they are called as ventricles. To draw a rough diagram, suppose this is the cerebrum. The cavities that are present in the cerebrum are called as lateral ventricles 1 and 2. They are also called as paraseals. You can see in this picture, this is 1 and 2. So these are also called as paraseals. These paraseals, they open into the third ventricle, and the third ventricle, it lies into the diencephalon. So this is diencephalon, and the third ventricle which is present in the diencephalon, it is called as diocele. Here you can see the third ventricle that is present here in between. It is in the diocele, and this opening of the first and the second ventricle into this diocele, this opening is called as foramen of Monro. So foramen of Monro. Then this third ventricle, it leads into a pipe-like ventricle which is present in the midbrain, and this is called as iter, which passes through the midbrain. It is also called as cerebral aqueduct, or it is called as aqueduct of Sylvius. So aqueduct of Sylvius. Then it leads into the fourth ventricle. The fourth ventricle lies into the medulla oblongata, and here there is cerebellum. Cerebellum is solid, it is not hollow, it does not has any ventricle. Cerebellum is not hollow, but medulla oblongata has the fourth ventricle, and then it leads into the central canal of the spinal cord. Here you can see. Okay, and it is entirely, all the entire ventricles are lined by specialized cells, and these specialized single epithelial cells are called as ependymal cells, and these ependymal cells, they secrete CSF. The CSF inside the ventricle, it is in continuous flow with the CSF that is present outside the brain in the meninges, and this circulation is through two openings which are present here near the medulla oblongata on the lateral sides. These are called as foramina of Luschka. Luschaka, and there is one in the median in the anterior part, and this is called as foramen of Magnidi. So with the help of foramen of Magnidi and foramina of Luschka, the CSF is in circulation. So paracele, first and second ventricle in the cerebrum, foramen of Monro opening into diocele, the third ventricle, iter or aqueduct of Sylvius present in the midbrain, mesencephalon, and fourth ventricle present in the medulla oblongata. So this is ventricles of the brain filled with CSF. Now the brain prosencephalon, forebrain, consists of three major parts: the olfactory lobes, also called as rhinencephalon, the cerebrum called as telencephalon, and diencephalon, the thalamencephalon. Let us see in detail about all these three. First, olfactory lobes. It consists of two parts. This yellow color swollen part, anterior part, is olfactory bulb, and in the posterior region, this pipe-like region which is innervating into the temporal lobe, is the olfactory tract. And the function of olfactory bulb and tract is control the sensation of smell or olfaction. It can be seen from the ventral surface of the cerebrum. So olfactory lobes, also called as rhinencephalon, controlling sensation of smell. Second is cerebrum or telencephalon. It is the cerebrum is the largest part of the brain. 80 to 85% of the brain weight consists of cerebrum. It is divided into two hemispheres, the left and the right hemispheres, as you can see in the picture, and there is a median fissure which is present in between the two cerebral hemispheres, and these two cerebral hemispheres are connected by a thick band of fibrous nerve fibers which is called as the corpus callosum, and this presence of corpus callosum, it is a special peculiar character of only mammals. So this is cerebrum. The cerebrum is further divided into, like, the cerebral cortex is broken down into number of sulci and gyri, or the ridges are the gyri. This ridges, the upper part, elevated part, is the gyrus, and the groove part is the sulcus. It is believed that the more the sulci and gyri, the intelligent more person is, because then it has more surface area and it can hold more neurons. But many scientists do not believe to this theory. So sulci and gyri are present on cerebral cortex. The cerebrum is further divided into four lobes: the frontal lobe, also called as the anterior lobe, the parietal lobe or middle lobe, as you can see in the picture, yellow color, the temporal lobe or the lateral lobe, and the occipital lobe, or the posterior lobe. So if I draw this diagram like this, these are the two cerebral hemispheres. The anterior part is the frontal lobe. This is frontal. On the side are the lateral. In the center there is parietal, and these are the occipital lobe. So this is temporal, temporal, frontal. The frontal lobe and the parietal lobe is separated by central sulcus. The parietal and the occipital is separated by parieto-occipital sulcus, and the temporal lobe is separated from the frontal and parietal by the sylvian sulcus or the lateral sulcus, as you can see in the picture. So this is the lateral sulcus. So there are two sulci which are separating the different parts of the cerebrum. Then the outer matter present in the cerebral cortex is gray matter, which is made up of neuronal cell bodies and the non-myelinated neuron fibers, whereas the medulla, it is made up of white matter, which consists of myelin sheath. So these are the two regions, the outer gray matter present in the cerebrum and inner white matter present in the cerebrum. Functions of the cerebrum. The first region, frontal part, has premotor area. This premotor area is a very important region in the frontal lobe. It controls all the involuntary activities. The motor area, it controls all the voluntary activities, which is controlled by the cerebrum. Association area, again a very important part of the frontal lobe, which is regulating the activities of learning, memory, and communication, speech, learning, memory, and speech. Soma aesthetic area, which is present in the parietal region, it is controlling pain, pressure, and touch or temperature. Pain, pressure, and temperature or touch, it is controlled by somaesthetic area. Visual area present in the occipital region, it is controlling all the vision. Vernix area is a sensory speech area, and sensory speech area, it is located here and near the association area and on the verge of the temporal and the association area. When you are able to understand some language, it is because your vernix area is trained. The taste area is located on the rim of the temporal and the parietal region. The olfactory region present in the temporal region. Auditory also present in the temporal. Olfactory in related to smelling. Auditory in relation to listening anything. Broca's area is the motor speech area. So Broca's area is a motor speech area which is related to speaking a language. Action when you speak a language, that is because of your Broca's speech area. If injury to Broca's speech area occurs, then you suffer from a condition which is called as aphasia, inability to speak, or dumbness. So premotor area, involuntary action; motor area, voluntary action; learning, memory, communication, association area, pain, pressure, temperature, somaesthetic area, and the remaining one. So these are the functions of cerebral hemispheres. In general, it controls all the voluntary activities, especially the premotor area. It is concerned with perception of number of sensory stimuli from the eyes, nose, ears, tongue, skin, and it is a seat of memory, will, intelligence, reasoning, learning. All these important functions are carried out by cerebral hemisphere. So this is about cerebrum. Now let us talk about diencephalon. Diencephalon is situated just below the cerebral medulla near the thalamus. So basically diencephalon, if you see, it consists of a pair of thalami, and above the thalami lies the epithalamus. Above the epithalamus lies the pineal gland. This is the pineal gland. Then the floor of the diencephalon is made up of hypothalamus, and below the hypothalamus lies the pituitary gland. And here it is enclosing a cavity which is called as diocele or third ventricle, and the thalami are connected by one more commissure, and this commissure connecting both the thalami is called as habencular commissure. So it is like a room. Roof is epithalamus, walls are thalami, floor is hypothalamus, below the hypothalamus is pituitary, and above is pineal gland. Let us see the function. So here also you can see this is the thalami, above it pineal gland, below it hypothalamus, and then the pituitary gland. So these pair of thalami, these thalami, they act as gatekeepers, relay centers. They will decide which message should go on priority basis to the cerebrum and which not. They are masses of gray matter in the cerebral medulla. They are made up of gray matters and they are present in the medulla. Thalami is coordinating center for sensory and motor signaling to the cerebrum. It happens, see, suppose you're watching a TV, you're watching some interesting serial, and your mom is continuously calling you, but you're not able to hear your mom calling you. This is because your thalami decides that that call of your mom is not important and that won't go to your cerebrum. So it is not your fault, it is your fault of your thalami that you're not answering your mother. Pineal gland, which is present above the epithalamus, it is secreting melatonin, which controls the skin color, but not in mammals. In mammals, it controls biological rhythm, circadian rhythm. Serotonin hormone is secreted, which is related to your mood hormones. Mood. Hypothalamus, which is the floor of the diencephalon, controls involuntary functions like hunger, thirst, sleep, fatigue, sexual desire, blood pressure, sweating, anger, fear, thermoregulation. Hypothalamus is also called as the master of master gland because it controls the pituitary gland, and it also itself secretes a lot of hormones like antidiuretic hormone, oxytocin, and a lot of regulatory hormones controlling the pituitary hormones. Pituitary gland is just below the hypothalamus, which is also called as the master gland. In front of the hypothalamus, the two optic nerves, they cross each other and they form the optic chiasma. So this is important. Optic chiasma, it is crossing of the two optic nerves present just below the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus, floor of diencephalon. Now we'll also discuss about limbic system. Limbic system is the emotional system which is present as a wishbone or a fork-like nucleus which is lying very near to the hypothalamus. So this is the mammillary body with red color. Mammillary body is closely attached to the midbrain. So here the midbrain is present. This is the midbrain. Okay. In front of the midbrain, the mammillary body is present. This curve is called as the fornix. This fornix, it lead to a horseshoe shaped structure which is called as parohippogyrus or hippocampus, and there are two almond shaped structures called as amygdala. So amygdala, parohippocampus, hippocampus, fornix, and mammillary body, they form the limbic system, and it plays important role in controlling emotions, sexual desires, behaviors, feeding habits. Amygdala also plays very important role in controlling fear and aggression. So emotions, fear, aggression, all these are controlled by limbic system, which consists of, you'll see in this picture clearly. So if you see, this is the hypothalamus. Near the hypothalamus, this is the amygdala, this is the hippocampus, the parahippocampal gyrus, the fornix. Okay, and then the mammillary body. This is the mammillary body attached to the midbrain. So this is the limbic system. So students, I hope you have understood ventricles of the brain, three parts of prosencephalon, the olfactory lobes, the cerebrum, and the diencephalon and the limbic system. In next video, we'll study about midbrain. Thank you.